Now, why this generation Z is only accused? Why not other generations? Now, generation Y had this, generation X had this, even baby boomers would have had this, even veterans would have had this. Everybody wanted that, right? Every time when you see your father drive a bike, you also wanted to drive a bike. You all know that, yes, of course, I cannot drive this bike. I am a kid, he's an adult. But I still have that feeling of driving the bike. We cannot say that is wrong. That is the intention. And that intention is being seeded when we are as a kid. And over a period of time, over we grow up, we work upon that. We work to achieve it. We even, I can say, we can strive to achieve that. I really want to drive this bike. I want to get one new bike for me. Of course, the current new model which is there. I think this is what Generation Z is also working upon. Generation Z is also doing the same. But, but, they are making it more faster because due to many interventions. One such intervention is technology intervention. Generation Z has more access towards technology. And who has given that is, of course, Generation Y and X, because they worked on that. Generation Z didn't work on technology. So Generation X and Y only worked on that. And they gave that to the current generation because they don't want the generation to suffer. And Generation Z actually has learned how to make optimum utilization of the technology. Sometimes they're exhausting it also, and they are getting exhausted. So, this technology intervention has made them or driven them to what we are having an idea of achieving. They are becoming more self aware, more self driven. Another thing also, they're becoming addicted towards technology. They believe that without technology, there is no human. But human invented technology. But they believe in that. That belief factor will go off once they start entering workplace. So the second most major thing about when you talk about this Generation Z is the workplace intervention. Of course, when you talk about workplace intervention, of course, every time as a HR, we have to believe that we don't have a belief towards fresher. Of course, we want to talk about in the coming videos about how freshers have made many impact in life. But we believe that freshers are naive. We need to train them. We need to accommodate them. How can I, like, there is so much of training budget involved, and how can I sustain him? How can I retain this person? He doesn't have an attitude towards staying in the company for a very long time. But the biggest problem that we need to understand is also that is this is how a generation enters workplace. Any fresher who's entering a workplace, any fresher who wants to start a career, of course, I do accept the point as a HR that we believe that we need trained resources. We need trainable resources at least for that sake. Yeah, Generation Z are really working upon that. Generation Z are at least becoming trainable resource. At least I think they have understood, maybe I can say like 60 or 70% of what is the real meaning of becoming unemployable. Because unemployment they know, but how am I becoming unemployable? I think they had faced that heat because millennials, Generation Y has been facing that heat for a very, very long time. And we say like 20, 15 years before, they are getting bashed upon that. So Generation Z actually is learning more on that as well. So they are, when you're coming to their workplace, what happens is that kind of intervention that we need to do is, I'm not saying that you have to probably give them training, maybe put them under some programs and train them, uh, like make them do the certifications. I'm not drilling that at least, but I always believe that try to create a learning environment. Learning does not happen always in a classroom, and learning does not happen always through you seeing a course, you're seeing a video. It doesn't happen like that. Learning also happens from seeing, monitoring, observation. If you are able to create that learning environment, learning is everywhere. You can learn from many things, even small thing matters. If you're able to create that culture, I still believe that you can actually do that. So this is the second most intervention that Generation Z are facing. And the third most intervention that maybe a commonly known intervention that many people believe is that this intervention is very crucial, but the problem is sometimes we don't consider that it is actually an intervention or not. But I believe that when you talk about this intervention on how things are progressing, is about the focus, the need of skilling, the skill intervention that we can call. What do you mean by skill intervention? What exactly are we trying to figure it out in skill intervention is I am becoming aware or I am becoming conscious about I am not knowing to do a certain thing. I don't possess the skill. I don't have the skill. Is that the main thing? So that is the most important point. This is the starting point of anybody who's learning or you who want to acquire a skill. Skill intervention is very crucial. And when a generation is entering a workplace, organization has this responsibility of putting the skill intervention the most crucial point. It should not be like a penalization. It should not be like that you enforce things upon that if you don't have the skill that then you are wrong. You are not fit. And we're not talking about that. You cannot put a skill like that. The skills are mandatory, skills are required. I understand that also. But the skill is a long-term thing. It's a developed ability. You develop over a period of time. You need to give the time frame. Of course, they have an ample lot of time frame. They have so much of avenues to learn from that. But maybe create a path for that. Create something on how this skill transition can work. Whether they're able to achieve this or not. Give them the time space so that they can understand that skill intervention is also very important. So, in this video, we have talked about Generation Z, different generations, and how we are handling. But one thing that keep in mind that every generation who are entering their workplace, you have to make them fruitful. You have to grab them. You have to make a path for them to sustain for another 20, 30 years. Because Generation Z is not going to be Generation Z for entire time. They want to travel. They want to share their journey. Everybody is going to share a journey of life. They are going to leap to every generation after over a period of time. And another individual will leap into a generation. So it keeps transitioning. It keeps evolving. That we have to evolve with that. Organization plays a very vital role in that because as I said in the first part of the video that organization should accommodate any generations because individual has a choice of picking up but organization does not have because we need a variety of experience, we need a variety of expertise. We need really a mix and match of both, a perfect combination of how people are working in the organizations. Hope this unscripted video helped you about knowing generations, knowing how people are working. So, as my personal suggestion is, I think this generation who are entering or this generation who are seeing this video, hope you understand that you are being considered a very important resource. You are important for us.